hello, friends, it's Chapo. Then he gets information that the satellite launch is also linked to Venezuela, and then he's like, fuck this, I'm requesting a transfer, Caracas desk. And they're like, okay, sure. So basically they all converge in Venezuela. David Acevedo and Jack Office go to Venezuela, and immediately they get at the airport, and they're like, driving in their SUV convoy, and of course they see, food lines and, poverty, and the ambassador says to David Acevedo, this is not the Venezuela of your youth. And he's like, yeah, I've heard.
In this show, the entirety of Venezuela appears to be made out of shipping containers.
Then they go to meet with the evil president of Venezuela and like his number 2 guy, who's like a general who was played by a guy who played one of the Cali cartel bosses in Narcos season 3. He was very good on that show. I like that guy. He was like the main Cali boss in season 3 of Narcos. He was good.
I remembered him from.
And then the Venezuelan president, like they show them the evidence, and they're like, if you're doing this, you got a problem with America, buddy. And the guy coats them off and just is like, I don't know anything about this. He just big dicks them and lies to them. And like as they're leaving, evil Venezuelan president says to David Acevedo in Spanish, he says, just because you grew up here doesn't mean that you're a real Venezuelan like I am. And then Acevedo says to him also in Spanish, he's like, that's fine, just as long as you don't pretend that you really represent the will of the people.
Then he goes back and he's like, all right, we're done with this meeting. I have to go push the hyperinflation button because I hate my people and I'm evil. Time to go serve my people rats, my favorite thing to do. I think I'll go take all the brands out of the supermarket. I hate it when consumers have choices.
Okay, so from then... a new character is introduced, who is, of course, Jacques Hagar from Game of Thrones, also playing an assassin in this show. And he is given a contract of like 2 people. We don't know who they are, but he's like, okay, I'm accepting the mission. He's a bad guy, and he needs someone on the inside, someone on the security detail to do this mission. That's all we see of that. Then the girl with the dragon tattoo shows up in the hotel bar, looking cute. Jack Ryan makes flirty eyes at her before going for an authentic Venezuelan dinner with David Acevedo and Detective Bunk Moreland, who just showed up, and he's like, hey guys. And they're like, oh, it's you. And they're like, oh, come on, I'm going to take you to get some real authentic arepas. And then they go to some little beggar child, like tap dances for Office Ryan. And
I want to go get my MBA, but the president keeps pushing the hyperinflation button. I can't afford to go to the University of Miami. I wish the CIA would save me.
Yeah.
Here's your perfect arepas.
So they have an authentic Venezuelan experience, with the real people who are being abused by this evil president and his hyperinflation. It's also implied that the social justice warrior political campaign that's like, they like in the presidential palace, there's a scene where the general's like, have you seen these polls? Like, she's doing even better than we thought. Like, she could win. And then it's implied that she's a leftist and that they are like pseudo right wing or something, which is very odd.
It's like Guaido says he's a socialist.
Yeah, it's a nice sleight of hand that they're doing here.
It's like he's doing it wrong.
Because I think
our guy wants to do it right.
Because I think they understand the sympathies of like where the average viewer for this show is going to lie. Like who just like someone who doesn't really know enough, but like has a general kind of like liberal point of view. And like this was interesting about the show, like the way that they've created Jack Ryan as like the funny, cool college professor who also does ops for the CIA is very much like why I think Pete Buttigieg is in the CIA, because like if they are behind this TV show and Pete Buttigieg himself as a candidate, this is like, as we've seen in him and this TV show, exactly how they're selling themselves.
Oh yeah.
Which is just like fun, young. We have a beard, we're cool.
Yeah. We're socially aware.
Tengo un perro grande estructural. That's the woman candidate says.
So there's some backstory with the senator and Office Ryan, where it turns out that he was his command. Like, despite the fact that he's a dork, he was also like an army ranger in Afghanistan.
Well, of course.
And David Acevedo was his commanding officer, who like saved him from a helicopter crash, and then visited him in the hospital every day for 3 months while he got back surgery. I'm very odd. Don't get it.
Well, they're trying to make you care for what happens next.
So, and then like Office Ryan, CIA Jim goes back to the hotel, splits off from the two other guys after Bunk Moreland's like, you still got a lot to learn about being a CIA officer, son. You still don't know shit. And then he goes ahead and proves that by breaking off from them, getting a drink for Girl with the Dragon tattoo at the hotel bar. And then, like, she just goes to this hotel room, and he's like, oh, boy, I'm going to score. And then, like, obviously, she's a honeypot. And as soon as he's, like, nutted and passed out, she bugs his hotel room and takes pictures of all his precious op intel.
Oh, no.
And he's like,
what a crappy agent.
He's like, oh, wow, this hot girl totally likes me.
I've got a big dead drop interception for you guys. I scored with a 10 out of 10. Perfect lady.
So, okay, so I'm getting to the very end of the episode. Basically, the Jacques and Hagar plot comes in, and there's a scene where he buys a trinket from some poor old lady on the street and gives her $10 American, and she just starts like crying. She's just like, so, and then like he gets an inside guy who's like a police captain on their security detail. But again, we don't really know who hired him. But the episode ends with their SUV. They're leaving to go back to America. CIA Jim and the sitting U.S. senator and the U.S. ambassador to Venezuela, their SUV convoy is just going to the airport to go home. They're like, time to go back to Washington and report on this information. They are fucking attacked with like bombs that are planted, like cell phone bombs that are planted like under concrete. That they're stopped in a thing and then just sprayed with machine gun fire. And the episode ends with Jacques and Hagar with car bombs and a fucking sniper rifle assassinating a sitting U.S. senator on Venezuelan soil.
Yeah. We need you to do this as covert. Look, these are big targets. Maybe make it look like an accident that they both tripped on sniper bullets or exploded.
It's like their whole convoy just gets blown the fuck up. And then, like, off a CIA Jim almost saves Senator David Acevedo, and he's like, "Go, Jack, go!" And he gets out of the car, and he's like reaching for him. Then it's just like, just pop, just aired out by a sniper rifle. It was the only entertaining part of the show. It was the only time I was like really rooting for someone. And then the episode ends with CIA Jim has to call home because he's like very close to this guy and his family, and he has to call the guy's wife and be like, she's like, hello. Jack, is that you? How's my husband? And he's just like, I'm sorry. He posted cringe and lost all subscribers. He's been owned permanently. So yes, that's the end of the episode.
Is his wife Pam?
Yeah. Sorry, your husband has been owned. He's fucking dead. He's been killed by the Venezuelan military in their own country, a sitting U.S. senator. So that's
fucking old.
So Venezuela. What I learned from the first episode, Venezuela is the most dangerous country in the world. It's the greatest humanitarian crisis in the world. If they got a nuclear weapon, we wouldn't know about it because we'd already be dead. Not only would they preemptively attack America with nuclear weapons, by the end of the episode, we learned that they will assassinate a U.S. senator in Caracas in broad daylight.
Oh boy, that's not good.
Yeah, no, that's how they get you.
So that's episode 1. Who did
Jack Ryan was in it was a character in Hunt for Red October,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And Clear and Present Danger, played by Alec Baldwin, Harrison Ford most famously in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger, and then Ben Affleck in Sum of All Fears.
Yes.
And did Office Jim play Jack Ryan in the first season of the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And Chris Pine played him in an attempt to do a reboot of the Jack Ryan character for cinemas that failed, and then
But these are all original stories.
Yeah. I don't think these are based on any Tom Clancy novels.
This is not based on.
I would like to say
these are all ripped from the headlines. This is like a class on geopolitics. What's going on today?
I would like to say for the record, though, that Red October, Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, all whip at set.
Red October is a great
fucking
movie.
absolutely slay.
They're cracker only.
Splinter Cell, one of the greatest series of games of all time. Rainbow Six, probably right now the best FPS you can play.
So I'm kind of shocked that the good Tom Clancy name has been slapped on what seems to be an inferior product. I would not up to the Tom Clancy standards that, the Tom Clancy label that we as consumers look for.
I believe
The
that
Tom Clancy label is one of those like baseball hats of an aircraft carrier worn by an old fat guy with mirrored sunglasses who's never been in the military.
I believe there is a Tom Clancy AI that's writing all of these.
Okay, who did episode 2? I want to see where this goes.
I did episode 2.
Were we supposed to take notes? Because I didn't take notes.
I took a single note that I will reveal later.
Okay.
I think this will go faster and faster as this goes on and becomes more and more incomprehensible. Okay, so episode 2 opens with the police officer who I gather led the convoy astray.
Oh, his whole family gets murdered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming directly from his family getting murdered to this American embassy and saying, refuge, asylum, getting taken in and getting taken back to an interrogation chamber where he basically says, I want to confess in return for amnesty. And boy, is Office Jack not having any of that. He is fucking pissed off that his good friend, Senator Jimmy, got, and he does the bad cop routine to the best of his ability. And it's, this cop going like, please give me amnesty for my mother too. She's very sick. I needed the $3,000 to care for her. And Jack is like, you shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up and tell me about the senator. I would say a moderately convincing tough guy performance from Jim. Office Jim immediately knows that that Reyes ordered President Reyes ordered the hit. The president of Afghanistan, and he is out to Afghanistan. The president of Venezuela, literally sub in. It would not matter.
Hugo Chavez.
Yeah, Hugo Chavez ordered the hit and is on his way to figure it out. Meanwhile, in the jungle, some guerrillas get ambushed by some operators.
Okay.
It cuts to Tampa, where some guy is scuba repairing boats for rich people, and tries to get recruited to, quote, pilot a flat bottom boat up the rivers. I know you're good at this, by some guy he used to work with. Not clear what this is. Back in Caracas, Office Jim casually infiltrates a boat by just seemingly driving up to the port of Caracas, walking into it, just lifting a little yellow vest and putting on a hard hat and walking into a boat to get information. This boat is the Renata, I gather, the boat from the beginning.
The Almeida.
Yes. He goes into the hull of this boat, looks at some documents, and immediately some guy behind him is like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And pulls a gun, or not pulls a gun, is about to pull a gun when the girl with the dragon tattoo shows up and is like, oh, this is my friend. He gets very lost. Remember, we had on the coffee, and is about to carry him off the boat when the thug pulls guns on them, and she expertly disarms him and kicks his ass. Outside, Jim's like, hey, no lies now. Who are you? And she says she's Lee Klein, former KSK, now privately tracking a former businessman who's been selling arms to Reyes, or to Hugo Chavez, but then got kidnapped by him. She gives Jim some information, which is an audio tape of Hugo Chavez's second in command saying, yo, he's blinded by power. The woman is doing better in the polls than him. He doesn't know what to do. He's dangerous when he's backed into a wall. They use this tape to basically they give it to Reyes' second in command, the
Cali cartel boss,
cartel boss, who's his chief of security, who is going to use it to put pressure on Ubari, the second in command guy, to try to flip him and turn in Reyes. All of this is very complicated and very boring. Later, girl with the dragon tattoo is forced to reveal that she is not in fact Lee Klein, but in fact Harriet Brauman. A BND agent, and she's looking for Max Schenkel.
Big natural dick.
A big natural dick.
I love those big floppy naturals.
A BND.
That's the German secret police.
Yeah, the German secret police. Okay. She's looking for her former colleague who betrayed her, who also, I believe, was instrumental in setting up the hit on.
Is this Jacques and Hagar?
Yeah, Jacques and Hagar. I think.
Excellent.
They go to confront Hugo Chavez and basically be like, yo, why'd you kill our senator? He is waiting for them with a stack of papers that it is revealed to be the forced coercion. It is revealed to the audience is the forced coercion of the guys we got rounded up in the jungle earlier. They're basically brought to a Venezuelan black site and be like, you either die or you sign these papers. And then Hugo Chavez hands them to Office Jim, and he's like, yeah, this is our top priority. We have already caught the people responsible for this. Here are their confessions. And Office Jim is leaving the room with the president and basically leans in and just literally to his face, to the president of Venezuela, says literally, "I know you did it," and then walks out. This episode ends with Office Jack getting ambushed in his hotel room, his ass beat by a on-scene assailant until Bunk, who was reading the Quran in his room. I don't know if this came up for anybody else.
Yeah, no, I didn't get. Yeah,
Bunk is reading the Quran recreationally in his room when he hears Office Jim being like, "Oh no, what's going on?" And then goes in and breaks up this assassination attempt, tries to chase this guy down, has another heart perturbance, and is unable to chase the assassin down. And that's about it. I would give this episode 3 out of 10. Mostly boring. The best thing about it was watching Office Jim have a plastic bag put over his head, struggle for his own life, and then stab a guy in the eye with a penknife.
Did you feel that, we were gonna get like a treat? The audience was gonna get a treat, and they would kill off the Jack Ryan character, and the rest of the season would be figuring out why Bunk was reading the Quran.
Yes,
while not being Muslim.
Honestly, I would wish that it took. I would hope that whoever did episode 3 will reveal that happens in the beginning, and then the rest of this is just replaying season 1 of Homeland.
Yeah,
with Bunk as the Quranized
right. That's how I would have done this show. I would have killed off the Jack Ryan character, sort of in like a more ignominious way than that. Like
he like trips and falls.
He's at Buffalo Wild Wings and he just swallows the bone of a flat piece.
You don't have to be Muslim to read the Quran.
But it helps.
Interestingly, everyone who reads the Quran becomes Muslim.
Yeah. It's called the Quran Challenge. We take it every day.
I felt like I could mostly follow this without having seen the first one. The boat is full of something no good. Reyes ordered the killing of the senator. Jack knows it in his heart, and the rest of it is up to getting all the spreadsheets together to figure it out.
Why did he kill this? That's like the worst thing. That's the dumbest thing he could have done.
Because they were getting too close to the boat.
Yeah, they were finding out boat secrets. They were finding out about the boat, and they were going to take away his inflation button.
Yeah, exactly.